Hey everyone, with Palworld being out for a while now, what, couple weeks, 3 weeks now, me and Emma were talking about a couple of things that we would like to see implemented into the game. I guess you could call it like a quality of life update or something along them lines. But one of the main things that we were talking about is a countdown timer for, oh, quit walking, dude. Countdown timer for bosses. Whenever you know, not don't show us the entire countdown on everything. Only have it set up for, like, if I want to go farm Elifredran, however you say that name, then whenever I hover over it, just to the right of defeated or right next to the name, it'll tell you 27 minutes left, or Pin King 13 minutes left, or if I go to Relaxorus Lux, you know, let us know. Let us be able to tell just by looking at the map how long it's going to be until the boss it respawns. For PvP, I think that would make for some super fun engagements. I'm going to jump on down here, and you know, it'll make it to where you look at the timer and you're like, oh, okay, so this is fixing to, what's that? This is fixing to respawn, so I know some people on the server might be going to try and farm this certain boss for some schematics or whatever. Let me go see if I can't ambush them and get what, you know, what they have on them or whatever. I already got that. Or, you know, just something along them lines. You know, it'll set up, it'll make you think about going and alone anyway. You know, it'll probably make you think, oh, I need to make sure my tribe mates or my clan mates are on before I go try and solo this boss real quick in case I run into anybody, because there's only 7 minutes left and somebody could potentially be camping it, you know. For PvE, it'll open up a huge, oh, I didn't realize that was so deep right there. It would open up a it'd open up the social aspect of the game by tenfold, you know. You got some people joining that's brand new, that's never played with Palworld before and don't know what's going on or whatever, and you can be like, hey, got a team that's going and doing this boss or this cave or whatever, you know. Or even if you have two experienced ones, right? Two experienced clans wanting to do the same boss, and they show up, and then you can communicate what your tactics are. Like, you know, oh, that's what you use, that's cool, this is what I use, I bred for this, I bred for that, and then before you know, you got a whole raid party set up, you know, for the future raid bosses that's coming, you know, that's already been confirmed to be coming, you know, here. I want to say soon, you know, because I do feel like that's something that they're going to add in soon, because, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people's already finished, you know, the entire game, and it's going to start getting stale. We're playing on official settings, so we still have a lot to do. Or I say official settings, but just base settings. But moving on to the second thing that we would like to see. Hold on a second, let me kill this dude. I absolutely love the AR, man. The AR is amazing. So moving on to the second thing that we would like to see is, this is a huge one. One of the biggest things that I think a lot of people are wanting is a task manager. So this picture right here that I'm gonna put up on screen for you right now is actually posted in Reddit by a user named Rustude. And what it is, it's just basically, you know, I don't know if this is a mod or if this is something that that he drew up and made himself, because if he made it himself, that's incredible. He did an amazing job. But basically, you have the Anubis on the sphere assembly line. You got two more Anubis on the production assembly line, and it'll tell you what you want them to do. You know, you assign them to certain things. I mean, I know you can kind of already do that by picking them up and throwing them, but anytime you fast travel, oh, I might go do that little raid right there. But anytime you fast travel, it resets it and messes it all up. But I mean, something like this, being able to, even if it's putting it in order, you know, being able to pick, like if you go to right here, let's go look at, okay, we'll go look at Blazehow, right? If you look, he does kindling and he does lumbering. Anytime I try and put this dude to do some freaking stuff at the forge, he wants to go hit down trees. Like, I don't want to do that. I think if there's a system that's set in place similar to what this guy has, that he drew up, or the mod, or whatever it may be. If y'all know what that is, let me know down in the comments below. But if there's kindling to do, then let that be the first thing. And then if there's not any kindling to do, then he does lumbering. You should be able to arrange which order that your work suitabilities are in. You know, if this isn't present, then let this one happen. If these two aren't present, then let this one happen. If these three aren't present, then let this one happen. You know, I think that would be probably one of the most ideal things for them to implement, and especially, you know, with the way that the powers work at this point in time. So the third thing that we would like to see implemented into the game is, you know, a backpack system. Because I mean, right now this is the only slots that you can have, plus your key items. You know, I mean, obviously you have unlimited key items inventory slots, but you know, if I'm out adventuring or doing caves or doing bosses or farming bosses or looking for schematics or something, you know, I want to have all my different armor, all my different. I don't be carrying these on here. I got this schematic and I wanted to see what the damage was, but I mean, this is my typical loadout, you know, not the nails. I just brought that over from my other base, but my keys, I keep my keys on me. Whenever I see a tree, I stop and grab the tree. Killing enemies that aggro on you, you're going to get your leather, your bone, you're going to get items, you know. So if they added backpacks into the game and give you inventory slot 1, and then let you, you know, down here or over here, or let you hit, you know, some kind of way to go to a different inventory, you know, have your small backpack that you have to find. And don't make it to where you can unlock it with engrams, you know, your technology points or whatever. I call them engrams. Don't unlock the backpack here, but make it like you have your accessories, you know, have a backpack slot or something, you know, small backpack that gives additional 6 slots or whatever, and you kind of key over. I think that would be amazing for inventory management, you know, and it would let people stay out doing what they want to do more in the game. And that's out looking at doing the caves, adventuring, and having a good time away from base, since your pals do all the work for you at base. So I really think that's something that would be awesome to be implemented into the game. And with that, let's move on to the next one. All right, so number 4 is going to be an IV counter. I know a lot of people say that this game copied Pokemon, and to be honest, they copied, I won't say they copied, they gained inspiration from a lot of different games, okay? And that's a good thing, you know. It gives, this is super, they took a bunch of good stuff from a bunch of different games and they made an amazing game. You know, you can't hate them for that because it's awesome. But what an IV counter is with Pokemon is it's called individual values, and they also have another one called, I think it's called hidden values. Emma and I used to actually play, I think we started on Sword and Shield right before COVID started, right during COVID. We started trying to breed our Pokemon from Sword and Shield to in preparation for the next event that was going to be video game based for Pokemon. So we were really trying to get into the whole competitive scene of Pokemon video game, right? We had already done and had fun and played the trading card game, which I've told you about that in another video. Just to give a little summary, is Emma was one of the top kids in her age bracket, and she was on the verge of being able to go to the Pokemon World tournament that was going to be held in, I think, Paris. I'm pretty sure it was in Paris. So yeah, we were, you know, we bred Pokemon. We did a bunch of stuff for Pokemon, with Pokemon. We had a bunch of fun with it, and this has the potential to scratch that itch, since, you know, Pokemon games have been mediocre the last couple of releases. So, and this, let's take out these things right quick. I love this AR, man. This AR is amazing. But back to IV counter, you know, there's individual values. So basically, let's go free this little homie right quick. That way we can get him in our team. And I absolutely love, look, they're so sad. They're like, oh, help me, help me. So, but individual values is hidden stats that you can't necessarily see anywhere in your stats anywhere, but it affects your attack, your defense, your work speed, And basically you can go get 2 identical. Actually, let me go see if I can find 2 identical pals real quick to show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay, chickadees. See, you got, oh, this one has 104 attack, 105 attack. This one has 55 defense, 55 defense, 49 defense. Your work speed for this one 77. Your work speed for this one 70 and 70. So that's their individual values. There's a YouTuber that goes by the name of Austin John Gaming. He breaks the IVs down in super good detail. Go check him out. He's really good. He comes from the Pokemon scene and the Nintendo scene, but he breaks down the IVs really good. Way more in depth than what I could ever dream of going into. But if we had a way with an item that we could get, whether it's a cave or a boss or just random somewhere that's rare or harder to obtain, then it would make IV and breeding a little bit more simplistic, because as it stands right now, it's pretty complicated. We're still in the process of working on our guide for breeding. That's going to come in probably 2734 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, the IV counter would make breeding so much better for stats, and it'll bring, especially whenever they bring out the PvP PAL arena or the PvPvE arena, however they implement it, whenever it's going to be PAL versus PAL or 2v2 PALs or whatever, it'll make breeding for scenarios like that a lot more interesting, because you'll be able to focus on certain key skills, certain key, how much do I want to put in attack, how many do I want to put in defense. But yeah, that's what an IV counter is. Just a system that you'll be able to actually see what they are. You click it and maybe it can have a cooldown or something. Like there's so many different ways that you'll be able to use a system like that won't make it too overpowered. Pick and choose. Okay, you used it, now you can't use it for 6 hours or 2 days in game or whatever it may be. But yeah, so moving on to the last thing on our list for this video is a bigger variety of weapons. Like if we go to the technology tree, and it's not just weapons, like the guns and the bow and the crossbow, that's cool. I'm talking about melee weapons. Like for melee weapons, you start off with the wooden club, and then it goes down to the stone spear, then it goes down to the bat. This right here, baseball bat for close range combat, might be tough to get a home run with a PAL. And then after that, it goes down to, what was it? Oh, the metal spear. And then I think it goes down to the baton, the electric baton, or the stun baton right here. And then it goes down to, I think, the refined spear. And I think that's the next one. Yep, the refined metal spear. And then we get the lily spear, which I need to craft that. I need to get the stuff and craft that. I want to check that out. And then after that, we get the sword. And then I believe that's it. That's the last melee weapon. But what they could do, you got, okay, so you get the sword calls for refined ingots. The spear, if you go up to the stone spear, or would you use the metal spear, for instance? You use ingots, right? And so that gives the spear gives you distance, so I would say increase the spear damage distance and implement swords, one-handed and two-handed, axes, one-handed and two-handed, maces, hammers, whatever, one-handed and two-handed. So that way you have an option to do like a sword and shield. I know we already have our actual shields, right here. But if you had a sword and board, like a shield that had a parry system, or maybe even like they did in Zelda, where you can deflect certain attacks back at your attacker, dude, that would be awesome. And then you deflect that, and you got your sword in hand, you rush in for an attack, or, and then you can even implement dual wielding, and having some daggers, which will increase critical attack. I know I'm going more into like an RPG type gameplay, but this game has the foundation for that combat system. Or if you want guns, you know, some people could argue that would be unfair in PvP, guns versus, you know, melee weapons. But that's, you know, I mean, I know Call of Duty is Call of Duty, and Ark is Ark, and this and that. But I mean, even in Ark, there's melee people that build melee classes. There's people that run with what is that, a riot shield and the batons or whatever in Call of Duty. I mean, there's ways to implement. Might have to make a couple of changes here and there to be able to make it balanced or whatever. But I mean, you can go in even more detail and in depth with maces ignore your defense, or if they ever make saddles have a defense, you know, it'll ignore that, or it'll ignore your actual armor, you know, it'll bypass your armor and just go strictly off of what you put into defense. I know that your armor actually gives you the defense, but if you actually that'll make you think about leveling up your actual defense stat. Axes cause bleed or some kind of damage over time effect. Swords just do a straight out damage, you know, you don't have a damage over a time or ignore. It just does an actual straight damage, and it's a little bit higher than what other ones are. But I mean, there's so many things that they could implement with different types of melee weapons, and I think that the game would improve by a lot by having different kinds of play styles of melee, you know, because I mean, you got the dodges. If you dodge, you know, you got that, then you got, you know, okay, here's another thing. I just thought of this right now. If you have dual wields, it lets you dodge twice back to back, you know, without the thing right there. It's just boom, boom, go. Or let you dodge further, right? And then if you have a two-handed sword or whatever, it dodges slower. There's so many different things, and that could be implemented into the game to make it even better than what it already is. So yeah, if y'all enjoyed the video, let me know if y'all have anything that y'all would like to be seen in a video like this, or any ideas on what y'all think that could potentially make the game better. Let us know in the comments, and we will definitely super be glad to add it into the video with your comment pinned in the video here. But yeah, that's what we got. Those are a couple of things that we would like to see. We're gonna have another one come out here soon, because there's a lot of stuff that we would absolutely love to see in this game, and just because we want to see it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna come or it's gonna make it a bad game or anything. Oh, I gotta go help this little homie out over here. It just, you know, just ideas that we have, and you know, we talk about Palworld, we talk about Ark, we talk about game. I mean, you know, our entire family talks about gaming, whether they're playing or not. You know, it's just what we do. But yeah, with that, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you.